I'm Heather Vale Goss, otherwise known as the Unwrapper. We're at JV Alert Live in Las Vegas this time, and joining me, this is Joel Comm, one of my very favorite people to unwrap.
Wow, that's high praise.
So if you don't know Joel, he's a New York Times best-selling author. He's known for being an AdSense expert in the past. He's the creator of the iFart iPhone app.
Also true.
And the KaChing Button.
Don't you love it?
I do.
I never tire of it. I don't.
Why did you make this?
Well, I had a book called KaChing, How to Run an Online Business That Pays and Pays. And I like to tie in some sort of gimmick, some novelty with what I do that helps you stand out from what everybody else is doing. Always a good idea.
Yeah.
And so inspired by the Staples Easy button, that was easy.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to make these up. We'll put the $sign on it, and I had a friend who was able to manufacture. And so we got these done, and I sent them out as promotional items with the book. And now today I give them away, and I sell them at KaChingButton.com for people who want to have one of their own.
Wow. So every time you get a sale, it brings the real world experience even into online marketing.
And it makes you happy. Who doesn't like KaChing, right?
Exactly. So Joel, usually I'm talking to you about the real world hands-on. How do you do this? How do you do that?
Can we talk about the pretend world?
I
want
want
to
to talk.
more fun.
Well, I want to talk about
unicorns, rainbows, puppy dog. Well, puppy dogs are real.
puppy dogs are real.
So are rainbows. So
They
are unicorns.
well, but unicorns, are they?
They are.
Okay, but rainbows you can't touch because they're not tangible.
No, but you can taste them. Skittles.
Yes, marketing. Yes.
Heather has a hard time keeping control of an interview when I'm involved.
And this is the only time. But what I want to talk about is the inner world. So we've got the outer world, we've got the hands-on stuff, and we've got the inner world, which is more the mindset, the spiritual stuff.
Right.
And you just said you wanted to stand out when you made this.
Yes.
That it's good to stand out.
And it worked.
So let's.
Still making an impact.
Yes.
You pressed that thing, 4 or 5 times already?
And it's fun.
And everybody out there wants one now. Don't you? Admit it. You do. Well, whether you do or not, I still like it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to stand out, whether it's in business or whether it's in personal life. How do we stand out and make an impact on others?
Well, we got to start by being true to who we are, right? Once we're in touch with our own passions, our talents, skills, abilities, our personality, we have to not be afraid to let loose with that and be who we are, right? I think too many of us, we play it safe and we go, well, what kind of person do people like? How should I present myself? And you get bogged down in these layers of shoulds. Mm-hmm. Don't let anybody ever should on you. I've been should on before, and it's not a nice feeling, and I try not to should on other people either. So if you're just true to who you are, then at the end of the day, at least you know whether you succeeded or failed, you were authentic.
Yeah, and yet there's people teaching us that in business you put out a persona, you present yourself as an expert.
Right.
So
I have advice for those people.
Okay.
It's actually nonverbal. It's
and that was
you
tangible.
Can quote me on that.
It was even tangible.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's who wants to be around posers? I've speaking on as many stages as I've been on. You meet all kinds of people, and there are those who are one thing off stage and another thing on stage. What you see is what you get. I'm the same on stage. Now, the bigger the audience, the bigger the room, and your personality can expand to fill the room, but I'm the same person and just as casual on as I am off. And in my business and the people I deal with and the employees I've had, they'll all tell you, yep, that's just Joel.
Okay.
And that makes it easy because then you don't have to ever explain why you did what you did. You just did the best you could, and it's also easy to go, I screwed that up, just being me. And that's fine too. I'm good with that.
Okay. So when I used to work in TV, I found that there were pretty much 3 types of people. There were like the real shy introverts who...
Of which I am one.
Yeah.
Totally.
And yet when you put them on camera, they would blossom. They would kind of come out. They would perform, and they'd use up all their energy and then be done. And I started out like that, I have to admit. And then there were the extroverts who were like, you look at them and it's like, wow, what an amazing personality. Put them on camera, deer in the headlights. They go totally flat. And then there were the people like what you're talking about that were basically the same on camera and off. And I found that even... I'm
in between. I really am.
Okay. And it's kind of...
That wasn't your question, though, was it?
Do you find it's a journey, though?
I'm not going to let you get it out, am I?
Well, personally, I found it was a journey.
Yes, life is a journey. It's all a journey.
Because I journeyed from being, like, having to perform for the camera to being more like what you described. It's just me. You know what? Take it or leave it. So, did you find the same thing?
Yeah, I think so. But, when I've been on stage, I've always just been who I am. However, there's this persona that I very successfully developed in terms of perception. I wasn't untrue to who I was, but through doing the reality show and having the best-selling books and all this, people who don't know me, will tend to put people on a pedestal.
Right.
And I don't like that. I like, there's positioning and then there's reality. And positioning, you definitely want people to think that you know what you're talking about, and I like to think that I do.
I think you do.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But then there's this human level, when I meet people that think that somehow I am further down the road than they are, I say, I'm just on my own journey, and you're further down the road, whatever that means in other areas.
Exactly.
That I'm not. There's so many things I'm not good at.
Yeah.
If we went down the list of things that I don't do well, we could be here for hours and hours and hours. So what it is for me is figuring out what I do well, and that is communicate. That is through my writing, blogging, my books, through my podcast, through speaking, being in front of a room of people, and transmuting ideas, communicating seemingly complex subject matter and making it digestible and helping people believe that they can. That's it. That's what I do well. I'm not even a good businessman.
Really?
Really, I have failed at a number of business ventures, and that's okay, because I realize this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not, and when it comes to doing business, especially the detail stuff, don't get me started on that. I need to bring in people that are more qualified than I am, or else things fall apart.
Yeah, so you're talking about focusing on your strengths, but then how do we find those people that kind of complement our weaknesses?
Oh boy, it's all about who you know, right? It's all networking.
Is it?
That's one of the reasons I come to events. Sometimes I speak, sometimes I don't. I attended an event in Vegas just last week, and I was not a scheduled speaker. I just wanted to network with people.
You crashed it?
No, I was invited.
Okay.
I wouldn't ever crash an event, as far as you know, Heather.
Okay, we'll keep it at that.
But I lost my train of thought.
You came to an event, you weren't a speaker, but you just went to network.
Yeah, meeting with people and networking with people and seeing, okay, how do I bring value to what you're doing? Discovering what other people are doing. We just came from a networking lunch here at JV Alert Live, and I met four gentlemen around the table who I'd never met before, got to hear each one of their stories, and with each one, I'm thinking, wow, here's a way that I can bring value and add something to their lives, to their business, to what they're doing. And I love just giving that out, because you never know, whether it comes back to you personally or not. It always bears fruit of some kind. Yeah. And so, did I answer the question?
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, out of those four men around the table, I knew two of them quite well, two that I've interviewed and talked with on a personal level.
You're talking about besides me and Dan.
Besides you and Dan.
There was actually six men around the table.
So out of the
you
six
were
men,
outnumbered.
so out of the six men, I knew four well enough to have a personal conversation, and the other two I had seen around. So, but to you, they were all new. So it's really interesting that, okay, I consider them part of, these are the guys I know, and to you, they're brand new. So we forget that it's like 6 degrees of separation.
Not even.
That was only two.
Not anymore. Yeah, it really is. It really is 2, 3 the most. When you look at LinkedIn, they don't go beyond second level, really.
Right, yeah.
Do they do third?
They say third, but that point is...
There's no point. I mean, everybody is so connected now that if you don't know this person X, in your person A, if person B doesn't know person X, and person C does. It's just, we're that connected. You know what? When you consider that there's over 1 billion people on Facebook, 200 million or so on LinkedIn, maybe more, 200 million on Twitter, we're really 1 to 2 hops away from just about anybody that we'd want to meet.
Yeah. So then why do we have to come to events like this?
Because the idea of meeting with people, flesh and blood, face to face, is still a time-tested concept. There's a big difference between sitting behind your computer and networking and actually getting to sit down with people, see their eyes, be able to, there's body language. It's more than just typing. We don't even get verbal communication for the most part in social networks. It's just words which are misconstrued. But there's something about personal contact that I don't think we'll ever be able to replace that, and I hope we don't.
I hope not either, because it's totally different. I mean, I interviewed you audio over the phone about a month ago, and this is completely a different experience.
You had to trash that whole thing, didn't you? It was just...
No, it went live, but there was no trashing.
It's out there, and that's the thing. Once it's out there, it's out there. Yeah, but I hadn't seen you for years.
Over 7 years.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, since the next Internet Millionaire.
Well, that would have been, let's do the math, 6 years, but close. 2007.
2007.
But still a long time.
Yes. How did I do the math wrong? I never do math wrong.
Math is fun. I won't make a sexist comment there because it'd be totally inappropriate and untrue.
Funny guy. So let's talk about the next Internet Millionaires.
Oh my. Set the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, it was the first online, full reality show. It was a full production TV reality show on the Internet. You were the host. I was your co-host, even though most of my stuff was on the cutting room floor. But
we have video somewhere.
I would love to see it.
I appreciate you being there, though.
But what?
You did get to do one of the, what do we call, the judgment rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did a few of those.
Yeah.
Every time we didn't have enough experts, I was...
You were there.
I was the expert.
I appreciate that. No
So,
hard feelings, right?
Oh, no. But what... But what prompted you to take on that level of production when everyone else at the time was shooting these, crappy little dark videos?
Stupidity.
Really?
Yeah, more or less. No, I had just finished up doing a joint venture with Eric Homeland. We did our instant AdSense templates, which is pre-WordPress, before people had a real easy way to get a niche website up. We created these templates. We had a $1 million launch in 5 days. It was a $197 product too. Often you hear about $1 million launches on $1,000 or $2,000 products.
Yeah.
Big deal. We did it on a low price point product. In fact, I think it was the biggest launch to date for a low price point product. We cut it off in 5 days, and we knew we wanted to do something else, and Eric had mentioned to me that he was interested in video. Well, I was a fan of The Apprentice and that type of reality TV. And
Survivor.
I knew that YouTube was on the rise. There was no question. I thought, what if we produced something based on the Apprentice model, but we produced the world's first competitive internet reality show. And we bring in some of the biggest names in internet marketing, and that was Mark Joyner, Armin Morin, Perry Marshall, Rich Sheffrin, Ray Edwards, right? And what's really interesting is...
all those guys have longevity.
They do. You read my mind. Get out of my head, Heather Vale. Stop that. They did. They all had longevity, and everybody is still standing. And a lot of us, we've had the dips, but these are people that have consistently over time delivered value. And of course, we had our 12 contestants, and they all competed in different tasks, and it was a load of fun. And Eric Homeland is incredible. He put together a team of people to actually do all the post-production. The shooting, the production, we built out the entire set in that airport hangar in northern Colorado.
That was awesome.
And in the heat of summer in July, it was insane. Remember, we had to bring in that fan to cool things off, and then we had the background noise, and we had to put the audio through post-production because of all the noise of the fan, and it ended up being incredibly costly. And with the product and everything, we actually ended up breaking even.
Wow.
And the whole thing, which is amazing. And to date, I still get people coming to me regularly saying, I was a fan of your show 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So thank you to those who watched it, and it's still online at nextinternetmillionaire.com.
And along the way, there must have been people who told you, that's stupid, you can't do that.
I don't know if they did. I think,
really?
I think because I had already done a number of things, and people were like, wow, Joel's going to take this on. Good luck. I think they were afraid that what I was going to do was have webcams, and little handhelds that we were going to shoot this thing. And then, you showed up, and the other experts showed up on the set, and they saw these sets that were built out. They saw 4 cameras, using to shoot everything, and they were all blown away. They were like, I can't believe you're doing this. And we did a first-class operation all the way. We had hospitality there. We helped people get their rooms set up. There was plenty of food. Everybody was well taken care of, and I owe that all, to my team. I mean, basically, I'm the monkey with the microphone. I had the idea. I helped script it with Eric. I showed up and, helped produce what would happen on the show. But the people behind me, or I should say above me, because they're the ones that made it happen. They carried me through the whole thing, and
Right.
I'm grateful.
But a lot of people would have done it the way you described, with the webcams and the low budget. And it did not, I mean, it might have been low budget, but it did not look low budget in any way, shape, or form. It looked like a full quality, high level production. And there's got to be something in you. I mean, again and again, you're coming out with innovative things. You're leading the forefront. What do you attribute your success, your drive to?
I'm not afraid to try new things.
A lot of people are, because they're going to fail, or they might fail.
Well, sure.
It doesn't bother you?
I have failed miserably sometimes. People don't know. It's about most of the failures. We don't talk about most of them. I'm not afraid of them. I just learned from them, and they're not a whole lot of fun to talk about, but as life lessons to show people that, we're all the same. Like my TextCast Live, we had one of the early text SMS mobile marketing platforms.
Okay.
We built a platform years ago, and distractions, other things, no focus, poor marketing, couldn't get the thing off the ground. Even tried to sell the technology. Couldn't sell the technology. After putting good 6 figures into it, I just shut it down. Know when to quit. And that's when I came up with this concept of I quit, even though I may have failed at some business ideas, I quit. I succeeded when I stopped paying for them.
Okay.
Right? So I stopped being a failure when I quit paying for those failures. That's
when you stopped throwing the money down the drain.
Yeah, when I finally shut that thing down and quit worrying about it and moved on, let it go, it was very liberating. And I look at it, now it's a story and it's part of my past, and great.
And what did you learn from it?
Probably should have either marketed it harder, like really put a lot of focus into it, or stopped sooner. One of those two things. But, when you're going to undertake something as groundbreaking as what we were doing, if you're not really ready to pour yourself into it, then you probably don't have any business doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all entrepreneurs, and our business lives.
Are we all entrepreneurs?
I'm assuming, you know what? I think anyone who's not an entrepreneur
webs?
would have stopped watching this by now.
No, because they're intrigued by the KaChing Button.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe they just want to look at us.
They're tired of. Well, they don't want to look at me. They might want to look at you, but they're tired.
Well,
of
you just had 3 women ask.
Hey, easy now.
You just had 3 women ask you to walk by, so they could check out your butt.
I
made Joel blush.
I have no reply to that. Anyway, wow, look at the time. Well, this has been Joel and Comm with Heather Vale Goss, and we'll see you next time.
No, not quite.
No, she's not letting me go yet. Yep, see?
Lights out.
Lights out.
Uh-huh.
Show's over. What else do you want to know?
One more thing.
Okay.
We all go through personal challenges that kind of can affect our business lives if we let them. I know so many people who have been through personal ups and downs. I don't know if it's something in the universe, something in the air, something in the energy, but a lot of people are going through personal challenges. And I want to know what you do when you have a personal challenge. How do you continue going forward in spite of it?
Well, without going into any details, I had the greatest personal challenge of my life beginning in 2010. And we make choices. We decide how are we going to handle the challenge that we have. And a lot of people choose dysfunctional behavior. They choose to go into alcohol, drugs, eating, watching too much TV, pulling away from family and friends. And I chose to do the opposite. I chose to get healthy. Physically, I lost a lot of weight. Do I look like the same guy?
No, you don't. No.
I took care of myself emotionally by opening up to friends and family and seeing a therapist, and I took care of myself spiritually by reconnecting with God in a way that was truly meaningful and transformative to me. And that was what was most important, is making sure that I was as healthy as I could be, because if you're going to withstand those difficult challenges, you have to be at peak performance. And I think when you do that, well, if you don't do that, you just end up prolonging your pain. Things don't get any better. You might numb it one way or another. If you're a hermit, you can go hide, cut yourself off emotionally. That's not going to serve you in the long run. If you push into eating too much food or not enough or drinking, well, that might numb it for a bit, but it's not going to solve it. If you disconnect from God completely, you're going to be lacking that spiritual component. So I just made a decision, and it really begins with that. I think resolutions are bogus. We don't need resolutions. We need revolutions.
Oh, nice.
Can I quote me on that?
Yeah.
Revolutions, not resolutions. Hugs, not drugs. There we go.
Ah,
Just say no.
that is so hippie. I love that.
Peace. And so when we make those choices, I think that while in our darkness and our own pain, we can't see the end result, it is those small incremental daily decisions that ultimately add up. And coming out the other side of it, you find that you do become a transformed person. And I don't feel like the same person that I was. I mean, at my core, my personality is still the same, but the way I view the world, the way I view my relationships, the way I view God, the way I view my work, it's different, and I am lighter and freer as a result of it. And does that answer your question?
Yeah, and you actually seem lighter and happier and more.
Well, I'm about 40 pounds lighter, actually.
But I actually meant emotionally.
I am. I think I am. I mean, there's sadness for certain areas of my life that, they're there. They're the scars that we bear. And, there's some things that we would change if we could, if we had the power. But acceptance means that we're not in control of anybody other than ourselves. We're not in control of our circumstances. We can't control other people. And all we can do is really all we can do. So we have to choose, how do we do that?
Yeah.
And so when we make that choice, that decision, that here's what I'm going to do, you've already won the game. That's why New Year's resolutions fail, because people say they're going to try to quit smoking. I'm going to try to lose weight. I'm going to try to exercise. Well, as the great sage Yoda once said, there is no try, only do. Right? And I want to hear you do that.
No.
Now who's blushing? So, because the moment you say you're going to try, you're setting yourself up for failure to begin with. So it's a mindset that says, I'm going to do this. I know this is going to take time. I know it's going to take hard work and effort, but I'm going to get there. And I already see what it looks like on the other side. Now, I didn't know how I would feel on the other side, and it's really a thrill to come out the other side and go, wow, I didn't expect these benefits.
Yeah.
But it's great that they're there.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. That's awesome. So what can you tell the people that, they get to those moments of, oh, this is too much work, that moment of wanting to give up, not knowing if they should go forward? What do you tell them?
Well, I guess it depends if they're doing that thing they feel called to do, right? There are times to give up. I gave you one case in point of a business where I probably should have given up a lot sooner with it. So I think when we're following our passions and our giftedness, our calling, then we don't give up. Because if that's what we're made to do, then how do we do anything other than that thing? If you are, a hand, you are made to pick things up and hold things and touch things, and you can't stop being a hand.
Yeah, okay.
Right? You're a hand. I happen to be a mouth. Although I've had some people tell me I'm an ass. So,
Oh, that's cute.
I just made that one up too. That's
He's just, things are just coming out. We got quotes all over the place here.
full of one-liners that you will forget in the next 3 minutes. So I even forgot where I was going. But you have to do what you're called to do.
And so that begs the question, how do you know what you're called to do?
Okay, if you don't know yourself what you're called to do, you look at the things that fire you up, things that you would do even if you weren't going to get paid for them, right? And those give us clues. You look at your past. What are the things you've done before, and what has brought you the most pleasure and excitement? Where do you feel like you bring the most value? And if you can't quite put your finger on it, ask people around you that like, and trust, or love, and say, if forget everything I've done to date, if that wouldn't matter. What do you see me doing? Where do you think I bring the most value? How can I help the most people? How can you see me making money? And listen, because people around us are often far more observant than we are. It's the forest for the trees, right? We can't see beyond our own noses many times. Yeah. And then do something. Even if you haven't got it all figured out. I mean, my life has just been a series of doing the next thing, even now, right? I don't want to just coast on past successes. That is stuff I did before. what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? What does it look like for next year? I want the things that are yet to come to cast a shadow over the things that were already done, because that means I'm growing upon my past successes and myself as a human being to have greater impact. And that's really the goal, right? Impact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Joel. I love being here to unwrap a new side of you. It was a lot of fun. I love what came out of this.
Apparently we unwrapped this side, so next time we
Yeah.
this side. Here. All right, I feel unwrapped now.
Yeah, see?
There.
I did it. I
Happy?
unwrapped him. I'm happy.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.